let it go, let it go.
Greetings, children of the screen. Your friendly neighborhood nerd scum here, coming at you today with a few quick thoughts on Netflix's new feature film, Game Over Man. Game Over Man is rated TVMA, and it comes in at 101 minutes. It's an action comedy, and it was just released, directed by Kyle Newacek. It's written by Anders Holmes, with a story by Adam Devine, Anders Holmes, Blake Anderson, I believe his name is, and then Kyle Newacek as well. These are the same people behind the TV show Workaholics that just recently ended. And if I'm being honest, that's actually pretty much what this movie feels like. It's like a hour and 40-something minute long episode. Like, honestly, I don't know why they didn't just make this a Workaholics movie. Like, I haven't watched the last episode of the show yet, so I don't know how it actually, like, ends or whatnot. But, like, these characters are, for the most part, close enough to the way that they were in that you could have just said that, like, because in basically, okay, yeah, basically, they could have been the same people just starting a new job. The character dynamics are completely the same. They act mostly the same with a few small tweaks here and there. And the basic plot for this is really simple. It's like they are maids at a big fancy hotel, and there's a big party going on with some rich dude, and then you get like a Die Hard situation where like terrorists come and they like try to get money out of the guy, and then these three morons decide that they're going to go all Die Hard and like step up and be heroes, and then like every possible thing that could goes wrong, but they still kind of stumble their way through it for the most part. Whether or not they actually save the day or make things worse is arguable, but that's part of the joke. So overall, I thought this movie was, for what it is, it's a really simple setup. It's like the jokes that they actually have in the movie are actually pretty good. The character dynamic works fine. Like, it's all good in theory. The movie does rely quite a bit on, like, gross-out humor, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but even the gross-out humor jokes they had, in theory, are funny. The biggest problem with this movie, in my opinion, is editing, or more likely, or more specifically, a lack thereof. This movie really should have been really compressed. This movie should have been 90 minutes at the very most. Like, there are scenes in this movie where I start off laughing, and then, like, I stop laughing, and it's not like one of those weird Family Guy jokes where, like, they do a funny thing until it becomes unfunny, and then they keep doing it for so long that it becomes funny again. It doesn't work that way. Like, basically, all of these are scenes or skits that are just not trimmed down. And because they're not trimmed down, not only does, like, the whole movie lag, but at the same time, like, the timing on a lot of the jokes seems to be off. Like, comedy is all about timing, and this movie's timing is abysmal. Like, jokes lag, jokes step over each other, jokes aren't punctuated in the right place, especially for things that are going to be, like, reoccurring elements and stuff. You know, like, I really think that a 90-minute cut of this movie would have been pretty awesome, but it didn't really work for me like this. Like, again, I definitely laughed quite a bit through this movie, but man, like, the first 20 minutes, which is like 20 minutes in is when the movie really gets going, and like that first 20 minutes is rough, and then there are several moments in between where they kind of have the typical kind of like comedic heartfelt scenes, or like heartfelt like bonding building scenes. But in this movie, it goes by way too slow. Like, this should really, you gotta pick it up. Like, this should be like a fast-paced, laugh, action, like, just fun movie. And it is still kind of a fun movie. Like, if you got nothing better to do for like an hour and 40-something minutes, like, it's not the worst thing. You know, it's not as bad as some of the other comedies I've seen for Netflix, but it certainly has a lot of the same problems. And I also think that this movie would probably do better if they had just straight up made it connected to the Workaholics franchise. You know, having said that, like I said, there are a few things in the movie that I did not care for. A lot of the gross out humor, don't really care for that. Daniel Stern is in this movie. I love Daniel Stern. For those of you who don't know him from any of his better works, he's the guy who is not Joe Pesci in Home Alone, out of the Drippy Bandits or the Moist Bandits or whatever they call themselves in that whole thing. But yeah, he is the one who's not Joe Pesci, and he's fantastic, and he's horribly wasted in this movie, although he does have a couple of great moments. But then again, at the same time, those jokes are allowed to run on way past the point that they're funny. Another issue I would have with this movie is, like, one of the characters, I guess spoilers or whatever, although, like, you see it coming a mile away, and that's kind of the joke. Like, at a certain point, one of the characters comes out to his friends, and it turns out that, like, he's come out multiple times when he's been drunk, and, like, it is actually, like, in the beginning, the way they play it, I thought it was pretty funny. But then, like, as soon as the guy, like, comes out of the closet, they just turn him into, like, they start writing him, like, the stereotypical 90s sitcom gay guy. And that's still supposed to be part of the joke, but, like, it never plays. Like, the joke never works. Like, they don't have the right setups for it, and it really comes so late into the movie with, like, again, if you cut it down to 90 minutes, then, like, the 3 little moments of foreshadowing that they had for that would really have played a lot better. And I think that, like, then if you were to tighten up all the elements that come after, like, I think a lot of it is just the fact that, like, this movie needed to be tightened the hell up, like, real tight. Because right now it's all loosey-goosey, and, like, it has some laughs in it, and, like, there's some fun to be had, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's a very flawed movie that I really wanted to enjoy very much, and unfortunately I did not enjoy it nearly as much as I kind of thought I would. But, you know what? That's just my opinion. Did you guys watch this movie? If you didn't, it's on Netflix. You can go check it out if you like, although after this video you might not want to. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of it. And if you like this video, please leave a like and share it with some friends. That's more important now than ever with all the things that YouTube is changing up on us small YouTubers. And if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe, and absolutely make sure to hit that little bell so you can get updates on all the dope content I'll have coming out in the future. Right on, guys. Thank you very much for your time. Nerd Scum, out.